Welcome to today's episode of the program Health and Wellness on Union 406 TV. I'm Oinda Malala Teru, and I'll be your host on today's program. Today's episode is on depression. For every stage in one's life, health is very important from the tender age to adolescence through adulthood. According to World Health Organization (WHO), depression is a common mental disorder characterized by persistent sadness, loss of interest or pleasure, feelings of guilt or low self-esteem, disturbed sleep and appetite, and low energy. Depression can interfere with a person's ability to function in day-to-day life activities. Depression can lead to variety of physical and emotional imbalance. Depression can also lead to poor physical health. It can lead to social isolation. It can lead to suicidal thoughts and other negative outcomes. It is very important for us to educate ourselves about depression and work towards creating a more inclusive and supportive society for everyone. To lend credence to our discussion on the program today, we have a public health specialist to help us out in the interrogation of the thrust of our discussion. Before I introduce the guests, let's go on a short break. I'll be right back.
Sometimes the hallways felt like a giant maze.
Jenny didn't feel like going to school, and she slept during the day and was up at night. She seemed irritable all the time.
It felt like there was a weight on my shoulders, and the weight was really hard to hold up.
One day, my daughter was crying. That's when Jenny told us she thought about hurting herself.
Then my parents got me treatment. That's when the bad feelings started to go away.
Welcome back to the program Health and Wellness, where we'll be talking about the causes, the symptoms, and the treatment of depression. Our guest on the show today is Dr. Ademola Adelekun, a public health specialist and a senior researcher of Blue Gates Public Health Promotion Initiative. Good day, sir. We're happy to have you on the program today.
Thank you, moderator.
You're welcome once again, sir. As a public health specialist and a senior researcher, can you tell us what depression is?
Okay, thank you very much, ma. Let me say that, like you rightly said, depression, as according to WHO 2023, is a kind of mental disorder. When I say mental, I know people will say, mental is madness. No, don't. It has not gotten to that. But we use the word mental disorder because it affects our mood, it affects our activities. Ordinarily, what we do that we used to enjoy, go to parties, mingle with family and friends, that, Demola is a very lively person, blah, blah, blah. Unfortunately, this thing will just disappear. And the head of it is what we call suicide. It could be a suicidal thought, which means I want to commit suicide. It could be a suicide itself. Let me shed more light on this. Now, let me share a story.
Okay.
For like a story.
Okay.
There is this story that my teacher told me when I was in secondary school, when we were doing family life education. And the teacher said, there is a lady back then, for like, she was very responsible lady, and most of the guys in school wanted to have a relationship with her, but she always no.
Okay.
And one day, the lady was coming from the house. She was one of the privates, and the guys, they sat down under the tree. They are gisting about girls in the school, and they were like, that's for like, nobody can date that lady in this school. She's very strict. I don't know. All of us here, we have tried. And there's one guy there somewhere. Say, if it's for like, the guy just smile. Me, I'm a big boy in this school. If it is for like, I've scored on her.
Wow.
Everybody say, wow. It's not possible, blah, blah. That was this weekend. My father was not around, so I invited, she likes me. She used to come to my house so I should teach her book. And unfortunately or fortunately, I was able to score on her.
Wow.
And the story spread around schools. Everybody was not for like, somebody that have been respected as a classy lady, classy student in quotes in school. They're like, like. So when she heard the story, she went inside the restroom and she started crying. So when the school closed, she left school and she went home. When she got home, it will be difficult for her to tell the parents what happened to her. And she was like, the parents said that her mood has changed. Everything changed about her. And the following day, they expect that dress up and go to school. Mm-hmm. She feels depressed. That's why prevention comes. She doesn't want to go to school. The parents was like, won't you go to school? Please dress up and go to school. Instead of them to identify what is wrong with Folake, the shame did not allow Folake to get to school. She just went and committed suicide because of that shameful act.
Wow.
That summarizes what depression is all about.
Wow. That was a very thoughtful story you just told, sir. Okay, so sir, can you actually tell us the major causes of depression?
Yes, we scientifically there is nothing like causes of depression.
Okay.
There are illnesses that we classify as causes. There are illnesses that we classify as risk factors. We only have risk factors. Risk factors is quite different from, like, let's talk about even cancer. Nobody can say this is the cause of cancer. Also have what we call risk factors. That's the only thing that we have. And now, if you are talking about risk factors, a lot of risk factors are associated with this. Let me start from social determinants. Social determinant, which is one of the things that actually affected all of us. The first one is poverty. I need to meet up with financial responsibility, obligations. If I'm going, no, I'm going to my family now. I don't know what they are going to, what I'm going to give them at home, what the children will take to school. I feel depressed even when leaving office. Probably my plan was that I'm going to collect a few money or some money from my friends before leaving the office. I'm like, I don't have anything also. I have to go home. I feel depressed. The second one is unemployment. Some people, by the time we graduated, I felt that, oh, this is time for me to make money, blah, blah, blah. I need to take care of Mama Demola at home, blah, blah, blah. And you find out that you submitted your CV many places. Now we think that, Dabaja has started working. Dabaja has started working. And we have this people, we graduated. Is it a family cause? Is it something like that? You begin to think about it. Another risk factor that we can talk about is pre-existing medical conditions. Then you are talking about terminal diseases. When you talk about cancer, those are the things. Those are some of the causes or risk factors. For we still have countless numbers, but those are the ones that I think we should just talk about.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much for the response, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
sir, you actually spoke about the risk factors. So what can we say are the issues, like health issues that causes depression?
Yes, like I said, if you talk about health, now we have narrowed it down to majorly health. Now, there is no health factors that actually cause depression, but there are underlying health conditions that can lead to depression. Like I cited the example of cancer. Let's use the issue of breast cancer for instance. Is a beautiful young lady, very charming young lady, and you say, oh, this thing is paining me, my breast is paining me, and you went for mammo. Mammo said, oh, this is cancer, this is tumor, and let's say malignant cancer, which is one of the bad cancer, so to say. So in answer, madam, this thing has gotten to stage 4 already before you presented yourself in the facility. What we need to do now is to remove it. And you have no option. Is that you die or you remove it? And they have to now remove it. By the time you get home, survive it. Let's say you survive.
Exactly.
Because even when you remove it, it's not likely you survive, but let's assume you survive it. You look at yourself in the morning, look at the mirror, say, wow, I don't have breast again. I don't have breast again. You feel that tell you that no. And that is why you see that most of the cancer patients, breast cancer patients for instance, not that they don't actually survive, but depression kills most of them. We have other medical conditions like that. Let's say people who are living with HIV. According to WHO 2023, it said that among the people that have higher risk of depression or pre-incidence of depression, about 28% is within people who are living with HIV and AIDS. Maybe because of the stigma we associated with it. Look at our environment. By the time we talk about HIV, àrùn tí ò gbóògùn. So now things are changing. At least we begin to advocate for people, and people are changing. But look at it, àrùn tí ò gbóògùn. That meant that even this 21st century, HIV. So a lot of things happens like that. So those are medical conditions that we are associated with depression.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, you've actually spoken about the medical conditions related with depression. So can we now say, like, the general notion that overthinking causes depression? What is your take on it?
Yes, no. If you look at overthinking is dwelling on the past, what has happened to me in the past. Maybe negative things that have happened in the past. Like I cited an example of somebody who is unable to get job, and we think, we finish together. Or you worry about the future. Like this, what we are saying now. Oh, if I didn't think, what will happen if my lecturer did not come before? A lot of things. So overthinking is actually a symptom of depression. the outcome of that overthinking will now determine. If that worry about the future, will I get this job? Will I get this job? And I have already prepared, blah, blah, you have already put all your life, all your resources to that thing. And it was positive, fine, you won't get it. But eventually, you worry about the future and you see that, oh, this is actually a failure. Then depression can set in. So that's just the way it is.
Okay. So with the notion you also gave now, like yes, overthinking causes
Yes.
depression.
Indirectly
Causes
yes.
depression. So is it now connected to our emotions? Like is depression connected to our emotions?
Yes, definitely. When you look at depression, we said depression has to do with the mood, disorder of the mood. That's just, let me use the layman language, disorder of the mood. So if you are talking about the mood, in public health, we talk about health in terms of body and in terms of mind. So if it's talk about mind, you talk about depression, because a lot of things about myself, though the body can actually influence, like the body, the woman who has cancer, the cancer, which is the body, will influence the mind. So that's just the two way you can think about it. Mind itself is quite different, but it's actually connected to our body, which is most important anyway, most important. So
Thank you very much, sir, for this.
you're
And
welcome,
it is
ma'am.
a very, very knowledgeable information, and I'm very certain that our viewers are getting more enlightened from what you've said so far. Let's go on a short break where we'll be bringing people's opinion about depression. Stay glued. We'll be right back.
Good afternoon. My name is Oriyomi. What's your name? Please, can you tell me one of the major causes of depression?
Well, I would say financial instability.
Thank you. My name is Oriyomi. What's your name?
Angela Olua.
Please, do you feel financial instability is one of the major causes of depression?
Yes, definitely.
Can you explain, please?
Okay, so we are both students and we can tell from the situation of the Kiri campus. As a student, we have a lot of bills to cover, like every day. And basically, we get like one credit allowed, then like 15 debit allowed. That's actually crazy, and we can always tell from the fact that we want better. And it's not like in Ikiri here, we can get places to work. There's no place to work. There's nothing to do. It's only if you're into something, I don't know. But there's actually like limited ways to get money around here, and that can actually cause depression. Because we need money every day to survive. So basically, I feel that.
Thank you very much. Right, sir, can you please introduce yourself?
I'm Mr. Nicholas Aquare from the Department of Theatre Arts.
Sir, can you please tell us some causes of depression?
Causes of depression. Well, if I were to say from my own experience of depression, the cause of my own depression, I think probably financial issues. Financial issues, and mine was actually financial issues. For other issues that some persons may have experienced, relationship is also cause depression. There are some major societal ills that can also cause depression. It is subjective to anybody's personal experience, so that's what I usually say.
So, sir, how were you able to overcome?
Mine was caused by an accident that I had in 2022, yes. The car that I had accident with was both known to people I experienced love, actually. Love got me out of depression. It was love assistance from my friends financially got me out of that depression, because like I told you before, mine was caused by financial issues. So
Thank you.
Welcome back to the program Health and Awareness on Union 406 TV. We are still talking about depression, and we've seen that people are really victims of depression. We are still here with Mr. Ademola Adelekun, our guest on the show today. Tell us, doctor, what age range and gender has the highest rate of depression?
Okay, according to scientific evidence, if you look at the evidence, let's talk about gender first. Women are more affected with depression. Is ratio 2 to 3. If you see 2 women coming down with depression, 3 women coming down, that means 2 men are coming down, which is 60 to 40%. And the reason is not far-fetched. There are a lot of hormones that women have in their system that makes them to be subjected to depression. Okay. In fact, some people, they have what we call premenorial depression, whereby when you want to see your menses, monthly menses, some people they have depression, but that's not it's just a short time depression. We have classification of depression, so women are more affected, and even some women, like 20% of pregnant women, they also have this. So when they go into depression once they are pregnant, even nursing mothers too. In fact, that one is highly is something that is evidence based. That is because when you give birth, let's say for instance, women who wanna go CS, at times they go to their bedroom in the morning, they want to bathe, they look at their body like this and they stop crying. A lot of women, because of physiological changes. That's why. But like, let's now go to men. We also know that we are not affected too. But like my friend used to say that it's only when I don't have money that I think. Okay, I don't. So that's just so. But there are other factors. There are other factors that can make you, depending on the condition. Depending on the condition. Let's say for instance, one has issue in the office and you wanted to they want to subject the person to disciplinary panel. Definitely, but I didn't do this thing. I didn't do this. A lot of things will be going on, but primarily men. But according to also studies, men will commit suicide than the women.
Why?
Yeah, because I think we struggle with things among ourselves. We struggle. We don't speak out, and that's why you see that you see more men commit suicide than the women. Now, the other question you talk about is the age.
Range.
Now, if you talk about the age, according to statistics WHO too, it is actually people who are adults, young adults, that's actually affected. If you look at young adults, you start from 25 to 30, 45, maximum 45. And if maybe because of this is our most productive time. So it's the time that you actually want to explore, want to achieve whatever you want to achieve, and that's when you see that a lot of people are being depressed. Oh, I'm supposed to have buy this, I'm supposed to have done this, Lawaja has done this. So that may be a factor. It's not a confounder, it's just a confounder, not authentic. Now, another people that are actually depressed are the elderlies. That is when they think about their children. What happened to my children? They are supposed to have done this, those are the people. We also have other people too, who are actually, but those are the classification. The young adults and the elderly. These are the but more adults than this.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for the responses. So, sir, this would actually be the last question. That what can we do not to fall into depression?
Yes, this is the most difficult question I've ever answered, because if you say how can you prevent depression? It's quite very difficult. Sincerely, it's very difficult because you have to approach the depression based on what is going to happen to the person. Now, I don't know what will happen to the person for me to prevent it. So definitely, you cannot prevent it because I don't know what will happen. That can, even myself that I'm your guest, I can fall into depression tomorrow. I don't know what can happen between now and tomorrow. So God forbid bad thing for all of us, but that's it. So you can't prevent it. However, there are interventions available that you can give to the person, and what you need to consider is what is the cause of this depression, because you have to identify why that is it. If somebody that is just affected by premenstrual syndrome, then you know that by 2 days it's off. So you can just say, okay, Lagbaja, let's go out. You give the person social support, majorly social support. If somebody that they have removed the breast, you know that, wow, this is really, really a big one. So definitely, if that kind of person is going into depression, we call that kind of clinical depression, because that kind of depression will last more than 2 weeks. Then for that kind of intervention, you have to refer the person to therapist so that the person can get medical. But the fact is that in developed countries, all these things are cheaper. But here, if we are getting depression therapist in Nigeria, it's not affordable. So it's not affordable. Mental health services is very costly in developed countries, including Nigeria. So we just pray that but the most one that is so easy is social intervention, whereby you provide based on the need of the person. If the person is depressed because of employment and you don't have work to provide, then probably you look at it and be giving the person stipend. Okay, probably take this money from my salary. You have to keep applying, motivating the person. Have to keep submitting your CV. Tell the person, even myself, before I got this job, it doesn't hit it. Your own is just 2 weeks that you are thinking. Mine was 1 month. Like, wow. The person, no, I thought I'm the worst. So social support like that can actually help the person. That's some of the things we can do. Thank you.
We appreciate our special guest, Dr. Ademola Adelekun. It is our pleasure having you on the program today, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And we hope when next we beckon on you, you would oblige.
Definitely, definitely.
Thank you very much, sir. A very big thank you to our viewers. Thank you for being part of this show. I'm certain we all have gained something from the discussion today. So it is very important for you to take good care of your health, because your mental and physical health is important to you, to me, and to the society. A big thank you to the executive producer, Mr. V.O. Adefemi, and to the production crew from the director down to the scriptwriter. I remain Oyindamola Olateru, the host of today's program. Join us on our social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook and Instagram on Uniosun 406 TV. Same time, same station next time.